Hello everyone. Welcome back to It's Wednesday, That's Why, a place to inspire people and gain inspiration from founder stories. Today we are doing the first live in-person event, in-person shoot of this podcast with the one and only Muhib. I'm so excited to do it in person because why not? We gotta have that human connection flowing and going. Muhib got started in the marketing world over 6 years ago, and after spending time both in advertising and content, he started to focus on email marketing. With his holistic skill set, he's generated over $10 million in client revenue and has become a specialist in driving business through emails for SaaS and e-commerce brands. Please welcome everyone, Muhib, the founder of Magnetic. How are you, man?
Thank you, Abhinav, for the great intro. I'm doing wonderful.
Well, thank you for being here and thank you for giving us your time. It's wonderful to have you.
Absolutely.
I gotta ask you first, what does Magnetic mean?
Dude, that's a great question. Honestly, I spent a lot of time coming up with it, and we started as Mave, and we were thinking of all these different things, and then I got stuck on Mave. I'm like, I really like this, and I was looking into the word Maven, and so I'm like, wait, Maven. But what we do is we make brands that become magnetic, because what we're doing is we're attracting customers to them. So I'm like, let me try to connect these, and that's when Mavenetic was born.
That's fantastic. I love the ideology how you put two things together and
Right.
That's amazing. What inspired you to found Magnetic?
Honestly, dude, I can go way back, As I was a
go
kid,
way back, man.
yeah, as I was a kid, I always kind of thought of big ideas and, this problem, I can solve it like this, or this, I can do that. And I've always had kind of the little thing inside me to kind of do a little bit more than just kind of getting a job. Because, I don't know, getting a job is great, but I felt like it wasn't the thing for me. Then I went to high school, right? And through high school, I was like, dude, I'm good at math, I'm good at science, I want to get into engineering. And the whole decision behind that was really, I wanted something sustainable, something to fall back on, something that is going to give me a consistent income, because safety was such a big priority, and I signed up for engineering school and all of that. Get into summer and my gut is just telling me, nah, man, this isn't it. And I'm thinking about it, I'm talking to my friends, I'm talking to other people, and everybody's like, no, you got to try it first. And myself, I got to try it. If I don't try it, how do I know if it's great or not,
Yes.
or if it's right for me? So I give it a shot, and guess what? 6 weeks in, I'm like, screw this, I'm out. So I drop all of my courses. I didn't really have a good conversation with my parents about it yet. I didn't talk to anybody else about it. I'm just sitting at a coffee shop at night. It's 11:30, deadline's midnight, and I drop all my courses. And I'm like, wow, wonderful.
That's a way to go.
I'm going to go on Monday.
I
I took the biggest risk I've ever taken in my life so far. So I go back to school on Monday. I'm like, dude, I got to do something, because I want to be in school. I want to learn. And so then what I did was I ended up joining a business program at Ryerson University, now known as TMU, Toronto Metropolitan. And I discovered marketing. I'm like, dude, this is so cool. I'm reading through the textbook. I'm like, this is powerful. And I really resonated with it. And that's my first discovery of marketing, really getting into it, understanding it. And early on, I started doing work for small companies, small businesses, freelancing. If you guys are in Canada, you guys will know Kijiji. I was out there on Kijiji just posting I'll do this graphic design, or I'll create this thing for you, or this landing page, or this, that. And I was doing work for free, but I started charging, and I'm like, wow, I'm getting really good at this. And that was the discovery, dude. And I continued to build on that, and eventually it became Mavenetic, a full, agency operating for email marketing for SaaS and e-commerce companies.
That is fantastic. It's so amazing you said there was something not right in my stomach starting on, because our intuition is so strong, and it often tells us what to do and what not to do. And I think we got to follow our intuition, because sometimes it takes us through the hardest times and makes things happen all of a sudden and out of the blue. So how does an engineering student who ended up in marketing get passionate about marketing?
You know what? I think it was always about creating something big or making an impact for me. And like I said, I always kind of was looking at solutions to problems. I remember back in the day, I'm trying to get tickets to a Drake concert, and you can't get tickets. And finally, get tickets. And what happened was that some dude transferred us the tickets. No, he didn't actually transfer us tickets. He gave us tickets, but there was no way to verify these tickets. I'm like, wait, what if there was an app that just scanned it, touched base with the Ticketmaster database,
Yeah.
and it just told you if it's a valid ticket or not. And
Yeah.
boom, like there's no risk anymore. They could take a fee from the transaction. It can be like a wholesaling platform.
Yeah.
So just little ideas like this, right? And I'm like, okay, wait. Like, I like creating stuff. I like doing that. And I realized, building companies is awesome. But what do companies need to survive? And that was marketing.
That's a very good thought you've put. Like,
Exactly.
That's why one of the reasons why I got into the marketing and sales industry is because I'm like, if I can master this skill set, then I can open any company I want and be certain that I can drive it and I can make it successful because I know the fundamental of growing a company. It's how to get more customers and how to acquire and how to make sales. That is absolutely fantastic. I like your thinking and I love the fact how similar it is to mine.
Yeah, we resonate, man.
Is that how marketers end up in marketing? Is that the thinking that gets people into marketing?
Dude, it's a small world, man. We're connected in one way, right?
It is. Now, I love all your story and how you ended up, and you mentioned survivability, you mentioned like you wanted to be your own company, flow those ideas, and that's all amazing. But I want to know what really drives you in the morning. What's your big why?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And really last summer, I, read the book Start With Why. And a lot of you probably have heard of this. Yes,
amazing
exactly.
guy.
And I got really thinking, I'm like, what is this why? I always kind of knew it, off the top of my head, but I wanted to go deeper. And that, like, the whole concept in the book is to ask why. You get an answer? Okay, ask why.
Yeah.
And you continue going further and further. And really what I discovered was, dude, I grew up in Canada, and I'm grateful to have grown up over here. My parents from India migrated to Canada early on, over 25 years ago. And when you're in a new country, a foreign country, you don't even know the language, but you have to go out and hustle. You got to work, right? Working multiple jobs to start with nothing because you're at zero now. It's very difficult. So as I grew up, I saw my parents, wake up and go to work even when they didn't want to. I saw them work multiple jobs even when they didn't want to. I saw them provide for me at the cost of their freedom, at the cost of their life and whatever. Whenever I said I wanted something or whatever, they had the heart to do whatever they could to get me whatever I wanted.
Yes.
And to see your parents go through that journey really resonates deep inside me because I'm like, dude, they didn't do all of that for nothing. Like, I'm here on a mission, right? I have something to achieve. I saw my grandpa own multiple businesses and absolutely crush it in the market in India, right? And my dad had to come to Canada and leave all of that behind, right? And so there's a legacy that I want to follow. There's something more to this than just, I'm starting a business or I'm starting a marketing company. The thing that fuels me in the morning is like, dude, if my parents can wake up at 5 a.m., they don't even know how to speak the language, go to work and make some dollar, then I can too, right? And it doesn't have to be just a job. If it's my passion with it, marketing, with companies, with business, I'm going to go and run with it and I'm going to achieve whatever I want to achieve because I know I can, right? And that's really what drives me.
That's an amazing drive. It's so amazing what you just said, and also so resonating because I moved here to Canada 3 years ago.
Wow.
And I come from a business family as well. So, I know that feeling of, leaving everything behind and coming here and say, you know what, I'm going to take the risk of starting everything on my own. I'm going to leave all the support that I have back there and build my own legacy and my own support. So it's not easy.
It's not.
It's I love it though. It's not easy at all. It just builds a kind of muscle that's now preparing me to withstand. Okay, I don't care whatever comes. I know I can do it, get through it, and be successful at the other end.
That's the thing.
Whatever the definition for successful is.
Exactly. Whatever it is for whoever is watching.
What is that for you though? What is your definition of success?
Damn, that's a really good question. And just like we're in January, so just when I was planning for New Year's, the 2023 year, I'm like, man, like what do we really want to achieve? Like what's the 5-year roadmap? What's a 10-year roadmap? What does success even mean?
Yeah.
And I'm asking myself these questions, and I realize where this whole journey is a journey of freedom, right? It's not a journey for stacking up cash. It's not a journey for, we just do marketing or like there's agencies everywhere. Like there's none of that involved.
It's not about that.
The whole purpose is to help people and make an impact and have the freedom in my life to do what I need to do, So success is, for me, impacting people around me at different stages. So the first stage would be impacting myself, right? Stage number 2, impacting my close family as much as possible. Stage number 3, my extended family, my community, my friends. You know, stage 3 can go even further. So beyond that, you know, communities in, you know, in India, I have a lot of family there, right? Or, you know, in other areas. And it continues to, you know, snowball into this impact. How can I make the world a better place, right? How can I get, you know, help kids get the right education? How can I help get people on the right track? If somebody, you know, stumbled across a bad phase in their life, how can they get walking and running again, right? Because, you know, I've been grateful and blessed to have everything that I do have, to even have the mindset, ability, the knowledge to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But success is, you know, using that to help the world. And my way of helping the world is making an impact. And number one, I mean, it starts with my business because I'm helping SaaS founders, you know, do better, make more money. And of course, those SaaS companies, they're also helping the public. They're helping other businesses, you know, consumers.
It's a ripple effect.
Exactly. And this is just the starting, right? With the funding, I can do more and more and more.
Yes.
I can support my family. I can be anywhere I need to be in an emergency. It's all about freedom, right?
It is.
And that's what success means to me.
That's a very good definition of success. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's really good to know, you know, different perspectives, because the same word success means so many different things to so many different people, and it's always good to learn new perspectives and resonate with that ideology and find a similarity. And then I think that's how people connect as well. They'll find similarities and ideologies and you know, that perception they had about the word and say, oh, you think like me, we're like-minded.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good to know. What's a growth tip you would like to share with other e-commerce and SaaS startup owners that can help them grow through using emails?
That's a really, really good question. And I mean, I think the one thing that I'll give is to keep it simple. I feel often SaaS companies, a lot of e-commerce companies, their tech stack gets extremely complicated. Oh, we need this platform, that software, this guy, this thing. And you're just really overcomplicating it. It's really simple. All you really need is an email platform, like email service provider. So whether that's Klaviyo for e-commerce, ActiveCampaign for SaaS. There's so many out there. You just literally just pick
Which one would you
run
recommend?
with it. For e-commerce, I would recommend Klaviyo.
Yeah.
And for SaaS, I would recommend ActiveCampaign.
Yeah.
So those are the two primary ones that we use as well. And the setup is easier as well, right? Like the only reason a lot of these companies I've noticed get stuck are that, you know, they're complicating things by implementing too many different tactics or strategies at once. All you got to remember is this is my buyer journey. A, B, C, D, E, whatever. And you just want to make sure that you're present at each stage of the buyer journey. So for example, if somebody's visiting your e-commerce store, okay, they visited, we collected their email address. That's one step. Okay, what do we do now? Okay, number 2, let's say they visited, they saw a product. Okay, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Number 3, let's say they saw the product, they added it to their cart, but they didn't purchase it. Okay, what now? What if they entered checkout and beyond, right? So it starts with acquisition. Actually the 3 things that I like to keep in mind are acquisition, which is acquiring the customer, because this is what all buyer journeys will follow. And then there's ascension, because you want to get these people to purchase more from you, get higher average order values, and possibly for SaaS, get on a higher tier monthly plan or annual plan or whatever that is. And lastly comes retention. Because all you got to remember is a business is like a cup of water with a hole at the bottom, right? You can fill up as much as you want, but if there's a hole at the bottom, the water is going to drain right out. And that's why retention is important, right? So you just need all 3 pieces of the pie.
To me?
No.
Because this is what I keep telling people, man.
There you go.
I literally use the same language, and I even use the analogy of the water and a
there
hole and the fire, and leaky funnels, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, are you secretly listening to me or what?
Hey, maybe we're just on the same vibe, dude.
Yeah,
Energy,
exactly,
right?
Exactly. That's so crazy to see that. But no, that's a great tip. Sorry I cut you off.
No,
there.
no worries.
But that's a great tip. I think people overcomplicate things. I think it also happens, the overcomplication, because of too much information which causes confusion.
Yes.
People listen to multiple courses and gurus out there, and then they get confused between what to do and what not to do. And every business owner wants to do what's best for their business. So,
Exactly.
They end up getting confused, which is why it's very important to have the right source of information and reach out to the right professionals, which will guide you in the right direction in an authentic and transparent way.
Exactly, and so to touch on that, like this is kind of a learning I had mid through last year where, you know, I looking into it and I'm like, dude, like you need people to grow. Don't be afraid of bringing people on, asking people for advice, you know, connecting with other people to help you get through there and get to the next level, because it's the whole thing is having a crew. The moment you have a crew, now you got multiple specialists working to do what they're good at,
Yes.
right? Because you might be good at one thing, but you're not good at everything, and that's okay, because that's just human. That's how humans are, right?
Yeah.
We might be very good at one thing, not everything, but you bring on specialists for different areas of your business, and you can really advance and grow to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about collaborating and
Yes.
working with the right people. You want people who are smarter than you at what you're trying to do, and like collaborate with them, get them on board your team, and get better done in less time and faster, so we can really have that growth, that massive growth or scale in terms of growing the business.
Yeah, and I think like, you know, like let's zoom out a little bit and just go early on. You know, a lot of people before they start a business, there's so many things they're afraid of, or so many fears, or just putting myself out there. Should I do that? Should I not do that? But you know what? At the end of the day, you have nothing to lose. If you put your foot out there, if you give it your best shot, because even if you're thinking about, oh, should I do it, should I not? If you give it your best shot, you have nothing to lose, and the only thing you're going to gain, let's say at the end of the 6 months, end of the year, whatever, you're burnt out and you don't want to go any further, at least you learned something. Because the skills that you're going to learn are, you know, they're priceless.
Yes.
So you pushed yourself and you got that far, now you're ahead of so much more.
Exactly. And it's so interesting that you mentioned fear, because, you know, a very wise a very wise person who's also a friend, created a video, and I remember it, because he said, fear is being afraid of thinking that a possibility can happen.
Yes.
And that's the most terrifying thing about fear, because it's not based on something that's gonna happen, it's on a possibility of something that can or cannot happen. And what people don't realize is the more they fear stuff, the more they try to create it and manifest it and bring it in their reality. So yeah, there's I don't think there's a way to, you know, get rid of fear for anyone, because everyone has fear, but I think the best thing you can do is dance with fear.
Dude, you're speaking my language, because really what it is, you know, the moment you think of doing something, okay, you're thinking of doing it, that's it. But you realize a second after that, your mind is telling you, oh wait, but this, oh wait, but that.
Yes.
The fear comes in, the doubt comes in, and all these other things. But really the biggest lesson, I guess, one of the biggest lessons that I learned are that you have to just do it. And you hear Nike say this all the time, you hear all these big companies, whatever, just do it. But it's as simple as that, because the moment you stop and think, thinking is good, but the moment you stop and think, you're allowing fear to enter. You're allowing doubt to enter. And when these things enter, they're going to slow you down, or they're going to make you confused about things, or they might prevent you from even taking the very action that you need to be taking. Deep down, you know what you got to do, so run with it. You got to do it.
That's amazing, man. And like, you know, people are trying to overcome fear.
Yes.
And I don't think you can overcome fear.
No.
It's like finding the wrong solution to the wrong problem. It's about like doing things regardless of fear. Like just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
100%. Like, okay, a little story that I can tell. I was always hesitant of putting myself out on TikTok a little while ago. Okay, my buddy Matt from Revive. He told me, he's like, you know what, dude, you put yourself out there, so what? Somebody's going to say you're like this, or somebody's going to think you're like that. What are you really afraid of?
Yeah.
And I tell myself, and I'm asking myself that, and I'm like, yeah, like, what am I really afraid of? I'm afraid of some people seeing me online, or like, oh, what is he doing, or possibly laughing at me. But then I realized, dude, these are made-up scenarios in my head.
Exactly.
This is not real.
100%.
None of this is real. And you know what? Even if somebody said that about me, I'm perfectly okay with it, because look at me. I'm at least doing something.
Yeah.
I'm doing something. I'm putting myself out there, and progress is better than no progress. Right? The needle is moving, and so never be afraid of that. Never have, you know, your surroundings kind of prevent you. Try to keep the right people around you. You know, your environment. Try to make it supportive. get people that are always going to push you to do the little things that you want to do, but you hold back on.
It's a very interesting story that you shared, and a question I have for you here is, how long have you been doing TikTok now?
Dude, I just started TikTok like what, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago? Like not even that much. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, after 6 weeks, the thoughts you had before 6 weeks, are those gone?
Completely gone, dude. I'm not afraid of putting myself out there, recording myself on camera, this and that, because what it is you kind of become comfortable. And so a big quote that I actually live my life by is become comfortable being uncomfortable. And the whole philosophy behind this is...
I have it written on the back of my hand.
The whole philosophy is just that if you're comfortable being uncomfortable, you're going to be comfortable growing. You're going to be in a situation where you're consistently growing. And see, the first time you do something, you're going to be hesitant. You might have fear, this and that. It doesn't feel right because you've never done it before. But the moment you tackle it, you become more familiar with it. And then you do it again, and again, and again. And really, you're putting your reps in. And as you get your reps in, you become better and better at it, more comfortable, more confident, the results are greater, and it's just this period of, I guess, perseverance that you got to push through. You got to have a little bit of grit, believe in yourself, and run with it.
That's amazing, man. I do one thing every day that makes me uncomfortable.
Dude, okay, what did you do today?
What I do every day, I jump in the cold shower.
Ooh.
And my cap's at the coldest. And it's winter.
Yeah, in Canada, it's cold here. It's cold here.
So when I come out, my body's red. It's sometimes it's paralyzed.
I give you props for doing that, dude. That takes guts.
Last year when we had that big storm.
Yeah,
there was
big
enough
winter
snow
storm
on the deck. So I literally went out there and covered myself in snow for 2 minutes.
Goddamn.
Yeah, man. Just a boxer. Right?
See, I've done cold showers and stuff before, but like that cold, that extreme, you gotta listen to this guy because he knows what he's doing.
It's been 1 year, almost 2 months in 7 days. Every day cold shower.
Every day cold shower.
Every single day.
That's really interesting, dude. I gotta give it to you
no,
because see, that's discipline. See, that's discipline as well. And so I feel like a lot of people, and maybe a lot of people watching this, they get caught up in, I gotta be more disciplined. I gotta be harder on myself. But that just brings in self-sabotage. Yes, but you don't want that. What you want is you just want a healthy way to set up a habit so that you're just doing this. It comes down to your environment. It comes down to getting your reps in. So don't even worry about a lot of those other things. Like he said, you just step in it and you gotta just dance with your fear. Just step in the shower. Just do it, right? The moment, if you're about to step in the shower and you stop and think, what's going to happen?
I'm never going to do it. And it's,
there you go.
Dude, like, it's so synchronized that what I'm about to say, you're like building it up to that. Because I was going to say that even today, there's a small part of me in a very split second when I'm turning the tap to the coldest that says in me, why are you doing this? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
And all I gotta say is, yes, I am.
There you go.
Do it regardless.
There you go. It's just about doing it.
Exactly, right? Like, although I'm comfortable with it, I don't feel it as much as the early days, but there's still a part of me that I'll go like, okay, do you really want to do this?
Exactly.
And I'm like, no, but that's why I'm gonna do it.
That's what it is, right? This is something Andrew Tate actually often says, and one thing he's like, it doesn't matter if you like it or not. If you know what you need to do, you have to do it, right? And a cold shower is just an example of doing something you don't like, but you're gonna put yourself through it. Yes. Because a lot of times in life, if you want to start a business, you want to get a job, you want to do whatever, you're gonna have to do things that you don't like to do, but you have to do them because that's just life, right? Yes. You gotta face it and you gotta do what it is and win. The only time you'll win is if you do it, though. Yeah. That it's just like the grass is green on the other side. You gotta go there.
Well, that's amazing, man. Thank you so much for being here and sharing all your wisdom and information. It's been absolutely amazing, and just shooting it live feels so good to me.
Absolutely.
No more Zoom calls and podcasts. It's gonna be live from now. Thank you so much for being here, and you go be limitless today.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Abhinav. This is an honor to be on this podcast, and I hope that your viewers, your audience gets a lot of value from this.
Thank you. I hope that as well. Thank you, everyone, for staying through the podcast and being here today. I absolutely love it, and I'm grateful for everyone who's watching this podcast and getting some sort of inspiration from this, because that's what we're really here to do. I'll see you, when.